Staff Sergeant Robert Chen pressed his face against the frost-covered plexiglass, watching ice crystals bloom across the surface as his B-29 Superfortress climbed past 28,000 feet. The date was January 27, 1945. The target was Tokyo. Chen was 22 years old with 11 combat sorties under his belt. He had 0 confirmed aerial victories. From his station at the central fire control position aboard the bomber designated Aquarius 52, Chen commanded 4 remote gun turrets scattered across the aircraft's massive fuselage. Each turret mounted twin .50 caliber machine guns. He'd fired them in anger 3 times, twice over Nagoya, once along the Japanese coastline. Not a single enemy fighter had fallen to his guns. The 73rd Bombardment Wing had been launching strikes from Saipan since the previous November. The operational pattern never varied. High-altitude precision attacks from 28,000 to 30,000 feet, where temperatures plunged to 50 degrees below zero, and jet stream winds turned bomb runs into chaotic nightmares. And every single time, Japanese interceptors climbed to meet them. By mid-January, the wing had hemorrhaged 31 superfortresses to enemy fighters and anti-aircraft fire. 31 aircraft meant 31 crews, 340 men gone. The bloodiest day came on January 14th over Nagoya, when 5 B-29s disintegrated in less than 20 minutes. The Japanese had learned brutal lessons about American bomber formations. Their Nakajima Ki-44 interceptors, codenamed Tojo by Allied intelligence but called Shoki, or Devil Queller, by their own pilots, could reach 28,000 feet in under 8 minutes, armed with either 4 12.7mm machine guns or 2 20mm cannons. These fighters exploited the thin air where B-29 defensive gunners struggled with frozen mechanisms and oxygen deprivation. But the tactics that truly terrified American crews were the ramming attacks. Since August 1944, Japanese pilots had begun deliberately colliding with B-29s after exhausting their ammunition. This wasn't kamikaze doctrine, it was cold mathematics. 1 fighter for 1 bomber was an acceptable exchange when the bomber cost $600,000 and carried 11 men, trained for 6 months. Intelligence reports indicated that a special air superiority unit based at Narimasu Airfield near Tokyo had destroyed at least 3 B-29s through deliberate ramming and damaged 7 more beyond repair. This morning, Aquarius 52 carried 6 tons of high explosives in her bomb bay, where the reconnaissance reported clear skies over Tokyo's port facilities, perfect conditions for visual bombing. Perfect conditions also meant the formation would fly straight and level during the bomb run, giving enemy fighters time to position for killing shots. At the 0400 briefing, the intelligence officer had laid out the mathematics with clinical precision. 62 B-29s would participate in the strike. 9 would not return. But what happened next would rewrite every combat record in the Pacific theater. Could 1 gunner and 1 crew survive what no bomber had faced before? Stay with us. The formation crossed the Japanese coastline at 11:58 a.m. radar. Installations on Honshu tracked them immediately. Air raid sirens wailed across Tokyo. At Narimasu Airfield, pilots sprinted toward fighters already warming on the flight line. Within minutes, 43 Ki-44s lifted off and turned southeast toward the incoming bomber stream. Chen spotted the first enemy fighter at 12,000 yards, a dark speck, climbing almost vertically through scattered clouds. The speck grew larger. Wings materialized. Then the unmistakable radial engine cowling of a Ki-44 became visible through his optical sight. The fighter rolled inverted at 27,000 feet and dove toward the formation's lead element. 3 more fighters followed in precise formation. Chen rotated his upper forward turret to track the diving attack. The remote control system allowed him to aim guns mounted 15 feet from his position, while a primitive computer corrected for airspeed, altitude, and the bomber's forward motion. Revolutionary technology. Also, temperamental. At 50 below zero, the lead Ki-44 opened fire at 800 yards. Tracers arced toward the formation in glowing streams. Chen pressed his firing button. The turret hammered. 50 caliber rounds streamed toward the fighter at 2,800 feet per second. The Ki-44 snap-rolled left and disappeared beneath the formation. No hits. The fighter had broken off too quickly. By 12:07, the sky erupted into chaos. Fighters attacked from every direction. The standard Japanese tactic was a high-side pass from 11 o'clock, diving through the formation at 400 miles per hour, then braking hard left or right to avoid concentrated defensive fire. Individual fighters rarely pressed attacks to point-blank range. Ramming attacks were different. The aircraft commander's voice crackled through Chen's headset, calling out a fighter at 2 o'clock high. Chen swung the upper turret. The Ki-44 was positioning for a beam attack at 700 yards, its nose tracking Aquarius 52 with deadly precision. Chen led the target and fired a 3-second burst. The armor-piercing incendiary rounds walked across the fighter's flight path. The Ki-44's engine exploded. Black smoke erupted from the cowling. The fighter rolled, inverted, and fell away trailing fire. First confirmed kill. Chen didn't celebrate. 2 more fighters were already maneuvering into attack position. The right blister gunner engaged one with his twin 50s. The tail gunner called out a fighter, closing from 6 o'clock low. Chen slaved the lower aft turret to his sight picture, tracked the target, and fired. Miss. The tail gunner took over and stitched rounds across the Ki-44's wing root. The fighter shuddered. Pieces of aluminum skin peeled away. The aircraft went into a flat spin. Second kill credited to Aquarius 52. The formation reached the initial point for the bomb run at 12:19. This was the moment of maximum vulnerability. The bombers would fly straight and level for 6 minutes, while bombardiers synchronized their Norden bomb sights. Course changes were forbidden. Evasive maneuvers were impossible. The Japanese fighters knew this intimately. 14 Ki-44s formed up 3,000 feet above the bomber stream, orbiting once, twice, positioning for coordinated attacks designed to overwhelm the B-29's defensive fire. At 12:21, they rolled in together. Chen counted them through his sight. 4 fighters diving in pairs from 10 o'clock high and 2 o'clock high simultaneously. Textbook tactics meant the formation's gunners would need to split their fire. Individual bombers would face multiple attackers with degraded defensive coverage. The battle was about to reach a level of intensity that would push Chen and his crew to the absolute edge of survival. What came next would determine whether any of them would see Saipan again. The first pair of fighters opened fire at 1,000 yards. Chen engaged the lead aircraft. His tracers converged with fire from 2 other B-29s in the formation. The Ki-44 flew directly into the stream of rounds. Its canopy shattered into fragments. The fighter snap-rolled right and collided with its wingmen. Both aircraft disintegrated in a ball of fire and debris. 3rd and 4th kills, but the second attacking pair had used the chaos as cover. 2 Ki-44s were now inside 500 yards and closing fast, their cannons blazing. Chen could see the muzzle flashes clearly. He swung his sight to track the nearest fighter. The Ki-44 wasn't breaking off. It wasn't attempting evasive maneuvers. The pilot had committed to a ramming attack. Impact in 4 seconds. Chen kept firing. The upper forward turret poured rounds into the Ki-44's engine cowling. Hits sparkled across the fighter's nose. The range closed to 300 yards, then 200. The fighter trailed smoke, but continued accelerating. 100 yards. The Ki-44 struck Aquarius 52's number 3 engine at 12:22 p.m. The impact sounded like a steel hammer, hitting a locomotive boiler. The fighter's propeller chewed through the engine cowling. Metal shrieked. The B-29 yawed violently to the right as the No. 3 propeller tore free and tumbled away into space. The fighter's wing sheared off. Its fuselage cartwheeled over the bomber's back and disappeared. Pieces of aluminum and steel rained past the gun turrets. Chen felt the entire aircraft shudder. Warning lights blazed across the flight engineer's panel. No. 3 engine fire. No. 4 engine losing oil pressure. The aircraft commander shut down both right side engines and activated the fire suppression system. Aquarius 52 was now flying on 2 engines. The bomber dropped out of formation, losing altitude at 300 feet per minute. Alone, damaged, a perfect target. 3. Ki-44s broke from their attack pattern and dove toward the crippled B-29. They had altitude advantage. They had speed advantage. Standard doctrine called for damaged bombers to be finished quickly before they could jettison bombs and gain maneuverability. Chen rotated the upper turret to meet the first attacker diving from 1 o'clock high. Range 1,000 yards and closing. He forced himself to wait. The targeting computer needed 3 seconds to calculate a firing solution on a maneuvering target. 800 yards. The Ki-44's nose lit up with cannon fire. Rounds punched through Aquarius 52's left wing. Hydraulic fluid sprayed from severed lines. 600 yards. Chen fired. A 4-second burst. The tracers connect. The second fighter attacked from 5 o'clock level. The tail gunner engaged first, his twin 50s hammering for 6 seconds. The Ki-44 flew through the tracer stream without apparent damage. It closed to 400 yards. The tail gunner's guns fell silent. Ammunition exhausted, Chen slaved the lower aft turret to his controls. The mechanical linkage was sluggish. Hydraulic pressure was dropping across all systems. He tracked the fighter manually, led the target, and fired a 2-second burst. The rounds hit the Ki-44's left wing route. The wing folded upward. Structural failure. The fighter tumbled end over end and broke apart at 12,000 feet. 6th kill. But the third attacker had used the engagement as a diversion. A Ki-44 was now at 3 o'clock high, 300 yards out. Wings level, nose pointed directly at Aquarius 52's cockpit. The fighter's guns were silent. The pilot had expended his ammunition. Second ramming attack. The right blister gunner opened fire. Rounds sparked off the Ki-44's engine. The fighter did not deviate. Chen swung the upper turret hard right. The mechanical stops screamed. He fired. The tracers missed high. He overcorrected. Fired again. Hits stitched across the fighter's fuselage. The Ki-44 shuddered but maintained course. Range 100 yards. 50 yards. The fighter struck Aquarius 52's No. 1 engine. The propeller disintegrated. Shrapnel tore through the wing. The No. 1 fuel tank ruptured. Aviation gasoline sprayed into the slipstream. The Ki-44's fuselage broke in half. The tail section tumbled over the B-29's flight deck. The engine and cockpit section smashed into the left wing and ripped a 6-foot hole in the leading edge. Aquarius 52 now had 1 functioning engine. The aircraft was falling through 18,000 feet. The wing was leaking fuel. The hydraulic system was failing, and 12 more Japanese fighters were forming up for another wave of attacks. Could Chen and his crew survive what came next? Chen's hands were numb. The temperature inside the unpressurized gun station had dropped to 62 below zero. His oxygen mask had frozen to his face. Ice crystals covered the optical sight. He scraped them away with a gloved thumb and tracked the incoming fighters. The 12 Ki-44s had split into 3 groups of 4. Classic Wolfpack tactics. One group would feint high, another would attack low. The third would exploit whichever defensive gap opened first. The tactic worked against healthy B-29s with full crews and functional systems. against a crippled bomber with failing hydraulics and partial gun coverage. It was an execution. Aquarius 52 fell through 16,000 feet. The single operating engine could not maintain altitude with the damaged wing, creating massive drag. The aircraft commander ordered all non-essential equipment jettisoned. Ammunition cans, toolkits, survival gear, every pound mattered. The first group of 4 fighters dove from 12 o'clock high. Chen engaged the lead aircraft at 900 yards. The upper turret responded sluggishly. Hydraulic pressure was down to 30%. He fired anyway. The recoil shook the entire gun mount. Tracers arced toward the diving fighter. The Key 44 jinked right. Chen tracked and fired again. The second burst caught the fighter's left wing. Fabric peeled away. Structural members became visible. The wing folded. The fighter snap-rolled and went down, 7th kill. The remaining 3 fighters in the formation pressed their attack, opening fire simultaneously at 600 yards. Cannon rounds and machine gun bullets converged on Aquarius 52 from 3 different angles. The bombardier's compartment took multiple hits. Plexiglass shattered. Frigid air screamed through the fuselage. The bombardier was killed instantly by a 20mm explosive round. Chen ignored the impacts. He swung the turret to track the second fighter. The targeting computer was offline. Hydraulic failure had disabled the automatic compensation system. He aimed manually, led the target based on instinct and 11 missions of experience. Fired. The burst hit low. Rounds sparked off the fighter's belly. The Key 44 broke left hard and climbed away, trailing smoke. Probable kill. Chen shifted to the third fighter. This one was closer, 400 yards, and diving nearly vertical. He fired a 6-second burst. The gun barrels were overheating, despite the sub-zero temperatures. Tracers walked across the sky. The Key 44 flew directly through them. Hits peppered the engine cowling. The propellers stopped. The fighter's nose dropped. It fell past Aquarius 52's left wing at 200 miles per hour and disappeared into clouds below. 8th confirmed. Kill. The 4th fighter had positioned for a beam. Attack from 9 o'clock level at 500 yards. The left blister gunner engaged with his twin 50s. The fighter jinked, closed to 300 yards, and fired a long burst from its cannons. Rounds tore through Aquarius 52's left horizontal stabilizer. Control cables snapped. The aircraft yawed violently. The rudder jammed hard left. The aircraft commander fought the controls, applied right aileron, and reduced power on the single functioning engine to stop the yaw. Chen tracked the attacking fighter as it passed beneath the fuselage and slaved the lower turret. The mechanical linkage ground and stuttered. The turret rotated 15 degrees, then stopped. Hydraulic failure. The tail gunner took the shot. His guns were still functional, mechanically operated. No hydraulics required. He fired a 4-second burst as the Key 44 pulled up from its attack run. The rounds hit the fighter's tail. The rudder separated. The Key 44 went into an uncontrolled flat spin. 9th kill credited to Aquarius 52's crew. The second wave of 4 fighters was already inbound from 2 o'clock high. Aquarius 52 was at 14,000 feet and descending. Airspeed 140 miles per hour. Critically slow. The bomber was approaching stall speed, with one engine unable to generate enough thrust